What's up, YouTube? And I'm back at you with another video. And in this video, I'm going to do my preview and prediction of the Alabama versus Tennessee matchup. This is going to be must-see TV. You got two teams coming off of really, you know, weird games for both teams. Uh, Two games where a lot of people figured that both teams would handle the other opponent, but like I said in previous videos, it's a lot of parity, and you're going to have some tough matches. Tennessee had to uh, get a sweep wide victory against the Florida Gators. Florida Gators took it to them, but Tennessee came out on top, and then Alabama had a nail biter against South Carolina. South Carolina had an opportunity to win that game, but Alabama pulled it out. So you got two teams, narrowly escaping their SEC opponents. And, they're finna play in this uh, third Saturday in October. Really fun matchup. A lot of history with this game, and I'm going to give my opinion on the game, and I'll give you some stats, and I'll give you a prediction at the end of the video. We'll start with the Tennessee Vols. Nico Iamaleava. I might have pronounced it wrong, but Nico, man, so far, man, he's a really talented quarterback, but not, you know, performing at the elite level that a lot of Vols fans expected him to. Um, this is a guy, that did really well against Iowa in postseason. That was a really good defense that he went against, and he did a really good job. So far this season, started off good, got to SEC play, and you start to see the production is not there, but he's a really good quarterback. Can pass the ball really well and can run it. So far, he's thrown for 1,219 yards. Um, he has a 65.7 completion percentage. He has 7 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. So, really talented quarterback, man. And the scary thing about him, man, like this guy has the potential to be really good. And this might be the matchup where Tennessee puts everything together. If he does that, man, Alabama's defense is going to have a problem. This guy's really good. Uh, you know, he still makes mistakes here and there. That's granted. Him being a freshman, but he's very talented, and he's going to be the key to not Alabama, but Tennessee's offense this season. Um, but he has a guy behind him, man, a workhorse, and Dylan Sampson. Uh, this guy, man, Alabama's defense is going to be in trouble. I'm just tell you that right now. This guy has 699 yards rushing. He's leading the pack. He has 15 touchdowns. He's averaging 5.9 yards a carry. This is the guy that I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of both, him and Nico, but this guy right here, man, is going to be the catalyst to this offense, man. Alabama is going to be in trouble, I feel like, defensively, especially with this guy coming out the backfield. So, very talented running back. Alabama's going to have to play their roles, man. They're going to have to plug in the holes, man, because this guy can get behind you, and it can be over with. So, Dylan Sampson is definitely the most productive guy on that offense. Yeah. They also have Deshaun Bishop. He's another guy. He has 330 yards rushing with 3 touchdowns. So this Tennessee offense, man, is primarily, run first, offense. Everything goes through the run. That's how Josh Heupel runs it. And that run sets up the pass. So if Dylan Sampson gets going in this matchup, uh, Alabama's going to probably squeeze in, try to stop him from running the ball, and it's going to leave, Alabama's DBs on the island. And Nico has the ability to exploit that. So um, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this matchup. At wide receiver, Dante Thornton Jr., uh, transfer from Oregon, man. I've said for years that this guy right here is going to be a problem. So far, though, he only has 295 yards on the season, and that's, and he has 3 touchdowns, but it goes back to what I was saying about Nico not being as productive as people want him to be, but He has some talented wide receivers in that room. Like I said, Dante Thornton is a blazer. This guy is a problem. He has speed. Tennessee, this is probably going to be the most talented, wide receivers that Alabama has played up to this point. Definitely squirrel right, 230 yards receiving. Shockingly, though, he doesn't have a touchdown this season. So, but I'm pretty sure that Josh Heupel is going to have these guys ready. They're going to, scheme up a really, really good plan against this Alabama defense that has been struggling, to cover guys in the secondary. So, Chris Brazzell, second, he has a touchdown with 210 yards, and then Brew McCoy, beast of a player, man, 209 yards receiving. Um, and like I said, it's shockingly him and Squirrel White don't have any touchdowns this season. So uh, this might be the game where they might get a couple. I mean, I'm just being honest. All depend on how Alabama's defense plays. But and then of course Tennessee has Miles Kelson, a former Alabama tight end that decided to enter transfer portal and join Tennessee Vols. Um, he's not getting too much production as well. So like I said, Tennessee overall offensively not putting up the numbers that they normally do, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a huge emphasis on getting that corrected in this matchup against Alabama. Defensively for Tennessee, they got some dogs on that team, man, but one name in particular that I'm nervous about is James Pierce Jr. This guy, man, he's all over the place, man. Definitely their best defensive lineman. They got a lot of guys on their D line. Joshua Josephs. Um, they got Jeremiah Tellander, uh, Arian Carter, Will Brooks. I mean, Keenan Peel. He's the leading tackler on the team. But a lot of good guys on that defense, man. Uh, Will Brooks on the back end. It just, if I had to say, if there's a weakness on this defense product, maybe the secondary. Um, there might be an area where Alabama can exploit, but they got to get past that front seven, man. Tennessee is really, really good at stopping the run as well. So really, really good defense. Tennessee, if I had to give my uh, overall say so about Tennessee, the defense is playing at a very, very high level. Offense, not so much, but they have the ability to do it. So going to be a very, very interesting matchup against Alabama. And of course, for Alabama, of course, Jalen Miro, he's thrown for 1,483 yards. He has a completion percentage of 72.7. He has 12 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. The last couple games, these last two games against Vanderbilt and South Carolina, played pretty well in the Vanderbilt game. Of course, Alabama lost that matchup. I wouldn't blame it so much on the offense. Pretty much the defense, caused them the game. And in the matchup against South Carolina, he had a horrible game, in my opinion. He threw 2 picks. Um, Just a lot of things happened in that matchup. They was going against a very, very good defensive line in South Carolina. Uh, Kennard, man, he's a beast on that uh, defense, and he gave Alabama's offensive line problems. And Alabama's offensive line still has some problems of containing pressure, and guys getting after the quarterback. So this could be a tough matchup for Alabama on the offensive line. Jalen Miro, sometimes his decision making, I feel like, is not there. Can he overcome that in this matchup? Can he play another full game like he did against Wisconsin or the first half against Georgia? It's to remain to be seen, but he has improved. He's definitely hitting the intermediate routes now. Um, Hopefully he can use his legs in this matchup. But like I said, Tennessee is really, really good at stopping the run. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Alabama's offense performs on the road. Jam Miller, he has 360 yards rushing. He's definitely the leading rusher in the pack. He has 5 touchdowns. He's averaging 7.1 yards a carry. And Jalen Miro is second on the in the rushing stats with 319 yards rushing with 11 touchdowns. So primarily Alabama's rushing attack is Jalen Miro. Uh, in my opinion, the Alabama running backs are not getting enough carries, and I feel like Alabama has to establish the run game outside of Jalen Miro. I saw an interview about, somebody asking, Kellen DeBoer about the running game, and they basically said, he basically said he would love to do that. So in my opinion, when he said it like that, it make it seem like, you know, the Alabama O-line is not, performing at a high level to be able to run the ball with the running back. So that can be a problem in this matchup. You know, Alabama has to establish the run outside of Jalen Miro. So it's going to be very interesting to see. They're going against a stout defensive front in Tennessee's D-line, defense. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And Justice Haynes only has 249 yards rushing with 3 touchdowns. So Alabama has to get that run game going, I feel, to be able to have a balanced attack against this Tennessee Vols defense. Receiver, Ryan Williams, he's leading the cast with 576 yards with 6 touchdowns. Didn't get a touchdown in matchup against South Carolina. South Carolina had a really, really good game plan, trying to shut him down. But that leaves other guys open. Jeremy Bernard is another guy that, you know, Jalen Miro loves to throw the ball to. He has 309 yards on the season with 2 touchdowns. And outside of that, like you have some other guys. You have C.J. Dupree with 121 yards. Kobe Prentice with 107 yards with a touchdown. He's deemed probable to come back in this matchup. So we're going to see if they can get him involved. Also, Kendrick Law is another guy that can get involved. He's supposedly coming back as well. So those are 2 guys that can greatly help Alabama's offense. When Kendrick Law wasn't in the matchup, you could tell the difference. He's a really, really good blocker on the edge. Very key in Jalen Miro getting those rushing lanes and stuff like that. So can they play up to this, to the level that they can coming off an injury? It's going to be very interesting. Of course, Alabama has a lot of receivers, like I said, it's, Josh Cuevas, C.J. Dupree, Manuel Henderson is a guy that can also step up. So really, really good team, offensively for Alabama. And then like I was saying earlier about Tennessee defense being elite, I feel like Alabama's offense can be elite. They be able to sustain drives and stuff like that. So it's going to pretty much come down to Alabama's offense versus Tennessee's defense. Uh, I can say that both of those are the the best parts of the team for each team. So defensively, like I said, Alabama's defense is going to have some problems, man. The last couple of games, they're getting up a lot of points, but they have the playmakers to do it. In my opinion, like I said in the previous video, I think it's the personnel in the scheme. I don't think it's so much the scheme that's bad. I think it's the personnel. I think if Alabama can get the personnel right, if Kane Wommack can uh, get the best he can out of the guys and kind of rearrange some guys, I think Alabama's defense can step up in this matchup. But I have to see it for me to have confidence in it right now. But uh, they have Jahad Campbell. This guy's been all over the field. He has 30 tackles, 51 tackles total, 30 solo, 21 assisted. Uh, Deontay Lawson, good linebacker. He definitely has to step up in this matchup, to contain Dylan Sampson. Um, these guys are going to have to play their gaps, man. They're going to have to be able to contain the run. And I believe Tennessee is going to attack the edge. They like to spread you out. So they're going to have to play disciplined football, man. And I'll be lying if I told you that I'm not nervous about this matchup. But uh, Alabama's defense has to step up in this matchup. Tim Keenan, uh, a dog on the inside, a really, really good defensive lineman. They also have Tim Smith. He's a guy that stepped up in the South Carolina matchup. All these guys are going to step up, man. Q Robinson is the guy that comes off the edge. But like I said, a lot of guys. But if there's a weakness, it's this secondary, in my opinion. And also, Alabama has to do a better job of stopping the run. So overall, Alabama's defense has to step up, in my opinion, to be able to win this matchup. So can they do it? Can they have get the things fixed that they have, on defense. It's going to be very interesting. And also Alabama overall penalties, you know, you have to cut down the penalties. We're going to a loud environment. Tennessee is a very live stadium, you know, and the last thing you want to do against the Tennessee Vols is to get them hyped, on the road, man. It gets really, really loud in there, man. I saw a video of the overall camera that oversees the whole field, and it was shaking like it was an earthquake. So that tells you right there that that's a very, very loud environment. Can Kalen DeBoer have the Alabama Crimson Tide ready for this? He said he's played in stadiums before, very loud stadiums, but it's a different beast in Tennessee, man. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what Alabama does defensively. I was looking at the line, and the line is currently I've seen different lines. Alabama's opening as a -3. Um, opening at -3. If I had to give my prediction for this matchup, man, like I said, this is going to be played in Knoxville, Tennessee at 2:30. So it's not a night game, but it's going to get to, it's going to be getting close to night by the time the game is over with. If I had to give my prediction, if I had to give my prediction, I'm picking Alabama slightly. I think this is going to be a very, very close matchup. What it all boils down to me, I feel like it comes down to the quarterback play. At this point, I trust Jalen Miro more than I trust, Nico. Uh, Nico has made some questionable mistakes, like that pick that he threw against Florida. It's like he was staring the guy down, and he threw it right to the floor. I guess he didn't see the defender right there, and he threw it right to him. I think the experience factor is going to play a big role in this matchup. Jalen Miro, he's no different. Sometimes he sits there and he locks down on one receiver. So they both kind of do it. But I think Jalen Miro is more dynamic. He can run the ball. His escapability is, in my opinion, is more elite than Nico's right now. Nico does have the ability to run, and I guarantee you that Josh Heupel is going to have some run plays for him, and the Alabama defense is going to have to uh, they're going to have to perform at a very, very high level. Tennessee has the ability to explode offensively, and this might be the matchup that they do it against this Alabama defense. But I'm picking Alabama. I just think overall, Alabama, if we get the Alabama that played against Georgia in the first half, I feel like any team will have a problem beating Alabama. Hopefully Alabama gets back to that team, you know, the first half of that Georgia game. But Tennessee, man, they can very well win this matchup. It wouldn't shock me if they did, man. Like I said, because of Alabama's defense, man, and they can cause Alabama's offense some problems. I feel, like I said, I question Jalen Miro's decision making sometimes, but at this point, I trust him because he has shown me that he can operate at a very, very high level, and I trust him more. But Tennessee's defense, I feel, is going to keep them in this matchup. I feel like overall Tennessee's defense is better than South Carolina. So let it sink in your head. That's why I think this matchup is going to be very, very close. But I think Alabama has shown the ability to have explosive plays, and Tennessee up to this point hasn't really shown that. Like I said, had that grinding out matchup against Florida, and like I said, even South Carolina, gave Alabama troubles as well. But I just feel like if Alabama executes, you know, offensively, and defense can get a couple of stops here and there, bend but don't break defense, I feel like Alabama's going to pull out victory. But it's going to be very, very close. I don't see either team blowing each other out. Uh, this game can either, it can be low scoring or it can be high scoring. It all depends on if Tennessee gets hot offensively. Nico, this might be the matchup, like I said, that he just explodes offensively. But got Alabama winning the matchup. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And once again, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.